Our top story tonight, the pride flag has lined Harrison Boulevard in Boise for years in the months of June. But tonight, it's unclear if it will ever be there at all. KTV's Aspen Shepard joins us live in studio. Aspen, you spoke to a man fighting to bring it back. What's standing in his way?
John, his application to temporarily display the flags was denied by the city. He believes the city went against its own policy to reject it.
Vehicles may not stop. Cross with caution.
There is this feeling of something's missing.
For nearly 15 years, the pride flag has lined the poles on Harrison Boulevard in Boise every June for Pride Month.
Those flags are a little reminder that there are people who care.
This year, it's not flying. Jordan Hall lives in Boise. He's one of many volunteers that put the flags up each year.
Yeah, I'm part of the LGBTQ community. I identify as a gay man. I've always felt very welcomed here.
In 2025, Idaho passed a flag law prohibiting government agencies from flying certain flags on government property. But it didn't list any penalties if agencies didn't comply, which is why the city of Boise continued flying the pride flag at City Hall.
I think most people in the city applauded the mayor and the city for standing up last year.
But this past session, lawmakers closed that gap, adding financial penalties. Boise took its flag down in March, the day Governor Brad Little signed it into law. Days later, the city instead wrapped City Hall poles with the pride colors.
We are very grateful for what the city has done to the poles outside of City Hall, but it's not the same.
So Hall set out to keep the flags flying on Harrison Boulevard, where the poles are also city-owned. In April, Hall submitted 2 separate temporary display requests with the city's Parks Department. The city approved the ribbons on the trees, but not the flags on the poles. Hall thinks the city got it wrong. In a statement to KTVB, the city says flags on Harrison Boulevard are placed at the discretion of the North End Neighborhood Association, and a memorandum of understanding between the city and the Neighborhood Association, dated June 27, 2025, says NENA can only fly city flags or flags allowed by the state. Donna Llewellyn, president of NENA, tells us flying the pride flag was never NENA's decision to make, and they've previously been hung by local volunteers. Hall points to that same MOU, which now spells out a process for anyone other than NENA requesting a flag display.
NENA's MOU states that no other person, entity, or association may display flags on the historic light poles within the center medians of Harrison Boulevard without prior express written authorization from the city. So the response you got from the city is not accurate.
Why do you think that is?
I think the city's afraid, and I understand that fear considering how aggressive the legislature has been with HB 561, but I think that the city has protection in both the law and in their MOU.
You feel like there's room in the law for the temporary display?
Undoubtedly. There is a clause at the end of subsection 2 that says the provisions of subsection 2 of this section shall not apply to any temporary parade or assembly on property of a government entity.
Hall says he's pushed the city to explain the denial, but stopped getting answers.
We just can't seem to understand why the city has taken the position that they're taking.
But he remains optimistic the flags can fly again.
Their city has the ability to do this, and we just are waiting for them to come to the table. We went back to the city to further clarify if they believe they're fulfilling their MOU agreement or if they interpret the law allowing for a temporary pride flag display, and did not get a response back. If you noticed in our videos today, Hall's ribbons still aren't up on the bottom of those trees because costs and logistics are still being worked out. Though, John, additionally, a local group called North End Pride is raising funds through GoFundMe to bring pride flags and yard signs to North End homeowners who want them. They've given away 250 yard signs and 130 flags and are continuing to order more.
Aspen, I'm curious, has Hall considered wrapping the pole like the city did?
He hasn't necessarily considered wrapping the poles, but he did get approval to wrap the trees in ribbon.
Okay, all right, good to know. Aspen Shepard live in studio. Aspen, thank you.